So ladies and gentlemen, Ubisoft have fully revealed all the little details about Year 9 Season 4. Who's getting buffed, why they're getting buffed, and by how much. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at the Year 9 Season 4 designers notes and go through all the changes. Now I'm going to skip straight over all of the pick rates, ban rates, win deltas and stuff like that. Just a few key operators to keep an eye on, the likes of sends and stuff like that. All the operators that have been changed, but for the most part it's the same as always. We're also going to skip over Blackbeard because I'm sure you guys are bored to death now about talking about Blackbeard and his rework, so we're going to skip over that because you probably already know a lot about it. The only thing we are going to talk about, however, is the changes to his loadout. And as you guys know, his primary option is now going to be his shield, and then his primary weapons are now technically his secondaries. So the MK17, which is Blackbeard's assault rifle, has had a damage increase from 40 up to 44. This is going to allow you to kill people a lot quicker. I do definitely like that. The magazine size has been increased by 5 bullets as well. The total ammunition has been increased on top of that. And then obviously he gets access to the SR25 as always. And something to note here is that he's no longer going to have access to flashbangs. Now he can only bring frags and claymores as his secondary gadget. Now moving away from Blackbeard, then the first operator that has got changes is Monty. And as you guys can see here, what they have done is they have changed his shield so that the guard break animation strength when meleeed is being reduced to 20% from 40. Now at first that sounds like a buff to Monty, but they've actually changed the way this actually works in general. Essentially what they've done is they've made it so every time you melee consecutively, with each hit it's going to reveal more and more of the body. It's going to stagger them a little bit more. As you guys can see here, the previous maximum amount of strength it would be at is 40, but now it's up to 60%. So if you keep hitting a Monty shield, he's going to reveal 20% more of his body. Now the next operator to get some changes is going to be sends, and they've kind of got like a mini rework this season. Essentially what they've done is they've changed the way that their gadget works. Now Glaz and Warden will not be able to see through their wall, and instead they've made it so you have to switch the wall on and off. You can also now deploy these gadgets off completely and then turn them on when you want them. As you guys can see, the projector's battery only depletes while the walls are active. So if you deploy these things while they are off, they will actually stay there until you turn them on, and that is when their durability will slowly run out. I could definitely see this being a lot more helpful for sends, and having that option to deploy them when they are not up and then turn them on when you need them up is going to help you choose when you want the angle to be open and when you want the angle to be cut off. Before, it didn't really make any sense because, you know, you were just cutting off sight lines for everyone other than Glaz and Warden, and you as sends themselves cannot even take full advantage of that, but now it's changed. And then on top of that, they have reduced the number of projectors for each of the projector systems. They've reduced the distance which the wall starts to block vision at. Thermal view gadgets will no longer be able to see through the wall. So all in all, it's just a massive overhaul to sends. Next up then, we have massive changes to Thunderbird. Her Kona station has received a huge buff. Essentially what they have done is added a new health regeneration feature. So when you get hit by a Kona station now, instead of it just dealing 20 HP or whatever it did before, it will now hit you with that initial health burst, but then over a period of time you will receive 2 HP per second until you reach 100% health. Now this is going to be a major buff for Thunderbird, and it's actually going to allow her to compete a little bit more with Doc. And just to top things off, they've also changed her loadout so that she now has a secondary shotgun, the Itali 12S. So Thunderbird this season is just getting a major overhaul. She's going to be a lot better, and I'm already liking the look of this. Next up then, we have a slight nerf to Ying. They have affected her candelas. As you guys can see, the rolling distance for 0 charges is now 10 seconds, 1 charge 7.5, 2 charges 5 meters from 2.6. So this one has received a change, and now when you fully charge a Ying candela, it will no longer go off instantly. It will still have to roll 2.5 meters. Now there's obviously still going to be ways you can play Ying in the exact same way, but this means you can't just essentially use it as an impact flashbang when entering a room, and this is going to make her a little bit more difficult to use and to get her gadget off correctly. Next up, they have changed the way stun grenades work. This is kind of interesting to me because essentially what they have done is reduce the amount of gadgets per operator to 2 from 3. So anyone who has access to stun grenades now won't get 3 of them, they will only get 2. And I believe this is actually gonna positively affect the increase of presence of Wamai and Jaeger this season. The fact that you're not going to be able to burn those gadgets as easily with stun grenades, and you're not going to be able to have multiple operators who bring so many flashbangs, it means operators like Jaeger and Wamai are going to be a lot more effective. As you guys can see here, these are all the operators that currently have flashbangs as well, so all of these operators are going to be losing a flashbang. Next up then, we have another pretty big one, and it is weapon balancing to Ballistic Shields. Now the first major thing that they have done is made it so when you melee with a shield now, it's going to do 0 damage. When you bump someone with your shield, you're no longer going to be able to do damage to them. So you can bump them an infinite number of times and you will never kill them. You're essentially just pushing them over. This is going to make shields a lot less aggressive. The way that they have currently been working means that if you have like 2 or 3 shields and you will just rush one person, it's too hard to deal with. And then if you just knock them over once, you've essentially already got that kill anyway. On top of this, they've actually changed the way a few of the shotgun works. If you want to read through this, I'll let you pause it now. But obviously they've just changed a few of the ADS discompression cone reduction. I have no idea what that means for the shotguns. Hip fire dispersion cone reduction for these ones, again don't really know what that means, and then recoil for PC and console. First shot has been reduced for these ones, increased vertical recoil after first shot for these ones. With that being said, let me know all your thoughts and opinions of this update down in the comment section. Is Year 9 Season 4 a W or an L?